Hey, good morning, Coastal Bend. It's Chief Meteorologist Carly Smith. We're tracking more storms on this now Wednesday morning. Good news is, as of 1:47 a.m., knock on some wood, we do not have any severe thunderstorm warnings in place across the Coastal Bend. And really any of Texas. There's a marine warning for Matagorda Bay with the storms moving through the Victoria area. We do have some little pop-up cells that have popped up ahead of this line of storms as they're tapping into our warm and humid environment. So let me pull up the storm so you're not just looking at me. Thank you for joining this live weather coverage. Now, we will not be talking on this live stream between now and when the storms move through Corpus Christi. But if anything important comes up, myself or meteorologist Hope Boland will be here to guide you through the storms as needed. But as I mentioned, right now, there are no severe thunderstorm warnings in place. The current time is 1:48 a.m. and we are seeing the first line of storms starting to move into Live Oak County and B County. Now, I know a lot of you are going to ask this, so let me make sure the volume is working. It looks like it is. Okay, I can hear myself. Okay, let's get to the question. Is this in the watershed? When will it hit my town? We're going to get to all of that. First, we're going to talk about the watershed. Actually, let's use these lines. So some of the maps have blue lines, some of the maps have tan lines. I've gotten to where I like the white lines the best because they do stand out the best. This line of storms has been moving through our watershed beautifully, and it has been producing a decent, now that we have the blue lines, which are hard to see, but it has been producing a decent amount of rain across our watershed. This is 24 hours, so this includes last night's storms and tonight's storms, which has now closed the gap. We have the entire watershed with at least an inch of rainfall for the most part, and so as this falls over what fell last night, that area of the watershed is expected to get an additional 1 to possibly 3 inches on top of the 1 to 2 inches that fell last night. So that is beautiful. I was looking at some of the gauges and the forecast, the river forecasting. Now, it is hard to get the first round of storms and the river levels right, but once that water starts flowing down a river or a creek with a gauge, the river level forecasting gets a lot better. But I was looking at it earlier today, and it does look like our rivers, our local portion of the rivers, where it flows like Tilden, Three Rivers, Whitsett, all of these areas look like we could start to see a decent rise, an uptick in our cubic feet per second. Some of the modeling showing 4,000 cubic feet per second, where we're around 100 right now. As we look ahead to Monday, Tuesday, and possibly a good chunk of next week. So that's something to look forward to. This is a good rain event for a watershed, and this isn't it. We've got more rounds of rain to come that will continue to add on to what we've seen. So what this rain is doing is putting a good soaking across the entire watershed. Then we do have a break tomorrow afternoon, and then we're going to get more rain in the forecast, it looks like, for Thursday. Maybe a little bit of a break Friday, more rain Saturday, more rain Sunday, and possibly some more rain into next week. Right now I'm only going like 20% chance of rain for Monday and Tuesday. But yeah, great news there. Let's put that timeline on. First, I'm going to figure out how fast these storms are going because I want to give you the most accurate timeline. So let's turn these on. Okay, the Corpus radar is working. Okay, now we have the whole picture. We have Del Rio radar, we have the Houston radar, and we have the Corpus radar, which pretty much has this whole line covered. We don't have the San Antonio radar, which was out. Is it still out? Nope, it's back. So anyway, we have all the radars covered now, which sometimes can not intensify storms, but make them look stronger than they really are because you're getting multiple scans at different levels and then putting it on top of each other. And so then it can look a little bit like you're seeing more rain, especially when it's the light rain than you're actually seeing. But anyway, Now we're gonna get to the important question. When will it arrive at my place? Good news is it's arriving to Choke Canyon right now, moving through Tilden, but we're still a little bit of a ways from George West Beeville and the rest of the coastal bend. But first, we've got to get that timeline set. So we're going, this is how I get my estimated times of arrival. This is your behind the scenes look. I am going, oh, I don't like the way I drew that. And then we're going to go backwards and we're going to see how the storms are moving. And then we're going to measure how far they've moved. So they might have picked up a little speed. I've been tracking the ETA somewhere between 30 and 35 miles per hour out. And this is still looking, it's roughly about 35 miles an hour that it's moving overall, with sometimes the center of that bow picking up a little bit more speed. But we'll clear this out. We'll zoom out a little so we can get the whole coastal bend. There's the current. And properties. We're going to have it set at 35 miles an hour. And there we have it. So Three Rivers, it is near. Current time is 1:54. Estimated time of arrival for Three Rivers, 2:08. Beeville, 2:37. Mathis, 3:05. Alice, 3:28. Corpus Christi, around 4 a.m. So 4 a.m. for Corpus Christi, just around 4 a.m. for Kingsville as well. I know someone put that in the comments. Encino, around 5:04. And then it starts getting into the valley as we get to 5:30, 6 a.m., right? Let's see how our futurecast situation is playing out, because that sure was a pain last night. If you were tracking the storms with me, it was not showing up on futurecast, then it was, then it wasn't, and it was splitting. All kinds of crazy stuff was going on with the models, so they can't be trusted. But anyway, let's see. This is our current radar. We could zoom in now that it's a little bit closer. All that red, that is storm energy. That is essentially like juice or fuel waiting to be used. Earlier in the newscast, I compared, or it's not compared, this is what it is. It's convective available potential energy. If you've been in a science class, you learn about potential and kinetic energy. Potential energy is like something waiting to be used. It's like something that's about to fall, but it's not falling yet. Like there's the potential for some energy to be used, and that's what is in our atmosphere. So we've got a lot of potential energy, and as these storms move in, that potential energy is then going to get used. And so we've got a lot of it, and these storms are moving into our juicy environment, and they've gotten a little bigger as they've done so. There was a time when it was north of San Antonio, I was like, I don't know if these storms are going to make it. Even in the 10 o'clock, I was a little bit worried because we needed storms to keep forming on the western end in order for it to make it. And there was a piece of that storm that was just wanting to go east right into San Antonio. And I was like, if that storm keeps going east and we don't get more development to the west, like we could wind up with no rain. Good news is that didn't happen. It kept developing to the west and still is as it moves south of Del Rio. So that's a good sign that the coastal bend will see rain out of this event. So let's see how Futurecast is doing. Right now, which model do we have? We have the her right now. This is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but the difference is minimal. And so the her, I said ETA for Corpus Christi 4 a.m. During the newscast, I kept saying odds are this speeds up. So the her shows it weakening to the west. staying strong. If an MCV is forming right here, which I haven't taken the time to look at winds just yet, but if what I'm seeing is it looks like her model at least, has an MCV form and move southeast. And so that would be the reason for taking all of the energy east instead of moving southeast into the valley. That's the reason. I haven't decided if I agree with that reason or not just yet. But this is initiating pretty good. It does look like it has the storms more split up than organized over the watershed right now. So I do think we'll see more organization down through Brooks County and Jim Hogg County than what this model is showing. So let's take a look at the other model while we're here, just to give you all the options. So this is current. Ooh, this one isn't initiating anywhere near what we expect, but it is juicier for the coastal bend. That looks like last night, to be honest. That's crazy. Let me look at one other one. That was the IBM model, by the way. Okay, this one is doing better. It looks similar to the graph. It's initiating a little bit in advance, but not a lot, and moving through by about 5 a.m. and done. So Corpus Christi, this model has it arriving earlier than what I don't think it's going to be here by 2:20. I would say 3 a.m. earliest for Corpus, likely estimated time of arrival 4 a.m. And then I would say the storm's out of the area roughly 7 a.m., which would be good for your morning commute. I know during the 5 and the 6, I was worried about the morning commute. Latest time of arrival, we can also see the time of exit. So let's go do that. So there is some stratiform rain building behind this line. Something to note about that stratiform rain is that can lead to a wake low, which wake low is an area of low pressure developing behind the line of thunderstorms. It's not necessarily a vortex or a system, convective system like I've been talking about. It's a low that develops in the wake of storms. And then the wake low can keep winds pretty gusty for a while. It can sometimes feel like a tropical storm or a hurricane that's not really moving, as you're seeing sustained winds 40, 50 miles per hour in wake lows and gusts stronger than that, and it can last for an hour or more. But I'm not worried about that yet. Something I'm watching, but I'm not worried about that yet. Let's see. We can look at those temperatures, actually. So temperature right now is 80, which is pretty warm for overnight. Compared to the same time yesterday, it's 1 degree cooler. So our environment's still pretty juicy tonight. Let's zoom out. Let's do, we're tracking the end. So this would be the end of the heavy rain, not necessarily the end of the rain in general. Heavy rain moving out Corpus Christi. This is downtown, not necessarily the island, around 5:11. Wow, that's moving really fast then. I would say 5:30. 5:30, I think it would be out of Corpus Christi. The island, probably 5:45 to 6. And then Falfurrias, rain moving out by 5:46:20. And yeah, pretty decent timeline there. That would get it all out before we are headed to work and school tomorrow morning. Let's now look at our velocities. So that is some pretty strong wind up there near San Antonio. They must be certain that that's not verifying at the ground, because 58, 64 mile per hour wind speeds that would be a warning, right? But that is further back in the storm, probably a little bit higher in the atmosphere. So let's see if there's any hail. Good news, I don't see any hail on our hail tracker, except maybe this storm in Mexico. That is the only area of hail, and it is smaller than an inch. So we are good. I would say we're good on the hail threat tonight. This is a wind event and a heavy rain event. With that being said, no hail expected, Kelly. Okay, that's actually still pretty accurate. This starts today at the current time. What model is this? This is the graph, the IBM. So this model has the storms weakening as it moves into Berks County, Kennedy County, Jim Hogg County, but it shows around 1 to 2 inches of rain possible for the majority of the coastal bend by the time we're into tomorrow morning. Then let's see Thursday's rain event. This model showing another potential squall line. Let's see if we can get the timeline up there. Okay, so this shows Thursday morning, another into the afternoon. Thursday morning into the afternoon, another line of thunderstorms moving in from the west to the east. And that puts 2-day rainfall totals for portions of the coastal bend around 2 to 3 inches. Then it looks like Friday or Thursday night into Friday morning, we could add another inch or 2, and then we continue on into Saturday and Sunday, and we could be adding more rain. But this model doesn't go that far. So yeah, pretty impressive. Hail update, please. Not tracking any hail with this. Winds are so far all under 60 miles per hour. I expect the wind to stay below 60 miles per hour. Right now, let's look at the current wind gust. Current wind gusts in our area, 17 miles per hour. Texas wind, 23 miles per hour in San Antonio, but it's between here and Corpus right now. Here's our current winds. This looks messy because I'm trying to edit it to add a couple of wind speed gauges. 40-mile-per-hour wind gust in Cotulla just now, so that's an idea of how strong the winds may be with this system. Let's see if any of these work. These are going to be some long names because these are our non-airport sites, and they will come from ranches and random TxDOT or all kinds of random places, so it's not going to look as pretty, but it will give us the wind speeds, and that's all I really want right now. I'm not looking at how pretty it looks. So a lot of these readings are missing data. We love that. We don't love that, but okay, Hondo is definitely missing data because it just says calm. Seguin got up to 32. I think 40 to 50 is a good estimate for what you should expect. I think worst case scenario is 60, 65, and then it would become a severe thunderstorm warning. But at this point in time, there are no warnings, and the wind should be staying below 60 miles per hour. So with that being said, I am likely going to just end this update, and Hope Boland will come on if there is a severe thunderstorm warning in place. I'll track it out for you in a couple of little pockets so we get a little bit more detailed for cities. And that's going to be it for my part as I head home. I don't think that's right. Don't look at that. I need to, the angle was off. So that has Corpus Christi 4:08 a.m. Rockport for 3:46, Taft 3:33, Sinton 3:21. This is the arrival of when your wind will pick up and when the heavy rain will arrive. Also, these storms do have a lot of lightning. It doesn't look like quite as much as yesterday, but they do have a decent amount of lightning. And so now we'll track it out here. George West 225, Mathis 307, Alice 336, Robstown 344, Driscoll 354. Kingsville 404, Falfurrias 425, Rivera 430. Looks like a good estimated time of arrival. So that's what we're tracking. Here's the latest radar. No severe thunderstorm warnings at this time. 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gust is likely all you're going to get, which is good. There is still a chance of some strong to severe thunderstorms, meaning we could still have some 60 mile per hour wind speeds. But so far, it looks like it should stay below 60 miles per hour. But as I mentioned, meteorologist Hope Boland is here, and she will come on this live feed as needed. But for now, I'm going to put it in a radar loop. I think we covered most things. Be ready for more rain. This is not it. And I hope everyone stays safe and has a wonderful night. Hey there, Coastal It's Chief Meteorologist Carly Smith. We are back live because we have a severe thunderstorm warning. So your time now is 3 a.m. It's 3 a.m. and a warning was just issued for George West and Beeville. That is for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. 60-mile-per-hour wind gust is the main threat with this severe thunderstorm warning. Let me pull up the automated update. We also have a flood advisory. So there's a flood advisory until 5 a.m. for Three Rivers, George West, and the Tilden area, which is, hey, guess where that is? That is right where Choke Canyon is. So we do have, look at that rain adding up over the last 3 hours. So this is our 24-hour rainfall total, which includes yesterday morning, and then we add in that pile of rain today right over Choke Canyon, which is awesome. That's radar estimating about 3 inches of rain or so. So that is great. But again, there's a flood advisory in that area. Lots of rivers in that area as well. Lots of creeks flowing into the rivers. So use caution driving in the Three Rivers area because there is a flood advisory, and B, A is the answer. There's a flood advisory. It's not a flash flood warning, but we are at risk for some flash flood warnings throughout the morning. Meteorologist Hope Boland is in. She is going to take over on any updates on the live stream, and she will be in starting at 5 a.m. on First Edition as well with any updates. First Edition should have any updates on potential road closures and things like that as well as we are headed into the morning. But let's go back to the radar. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning until 3:45 a.m. That flood advisory is until 5 a.m. And these storms are still moving to the southeast at, let's see how fast they're estimating this severe thunderstorm is going. Severe thunderstorm warning is, it says it's moving slow at 10 miles per hour. I am not sure I agree with that, but what is happening is this is right where our inflow is. So you can see this little inflow notch right here, which is likely creating a little bit of upper level rotation because we also have the surface winds going toward the coast, pushing these storms along. And so because there's a little bit of some minor upper level rotation, broad, that's a better term, we're getting a stronger updraft right here. And so there's a lot of lightning right in that area as well. Let's check out the hail risk. So the warning puts hail at 3/4 of an inch. So 3/4 of an inch for your hailstones. Let's see what our data. So 0.4, that's half an inch. So up to 3/4 of an inch, likely a half an inch hail, which is small. Can it cause some minor damage? Yes, but overall that is very small in terms when it comes to hail. Here's that rain over, again, the Three Rivers, Campbellton area, northern Live Oak County. You have seen radar estimated around 2 to 3 inches of rainfall, and additional rain is still falling as we speak. So here's the latest radar. This is where we're missing a radar scan. Hopefully that scan catches up on the next one because that's not good. There it goes. It's starting to catch up. We did get a little bit of rain here at the station from these storms developing in that inflow. So you see the inflow, the moisture inflow is right where that storm is showing signs of being severe. There's no obvious signs of rotation even in the upper levels, but there is definitely some turbulence in the upper levels of the atmosphere there near Beeville. Again, radar estimated wind speeds are about 60 miles per hour. Worst case scenario, I think we could get up to 70 miles per hour. Hail likely going to stay less than 1/4 of an inch, or I say 1/4 of an inch, less than 1/4, which is an inch in diameter. I don't expect the hail to get larger than that in this type of environment. Rain is something we're watching as it's already rained a lot in this area yesterday. Any additional rainfall isn't going to move as fast because our soil is more saturated. So we are worried about some flash flooding over the next couple of hours. Let me see how fast these storms are moving. Yeah, that storm is definitely moving faster than 10 miles an hour. I don't know where that estimate came from. 35 is still pretty on track for that estimated time of arrival. So let's see. There's the tool I was looking for. So we will, I need to zoom out. So this is going to be the big picture, then I'll zoom in and do the little picture. So this is our big picture. I need to add this, a lot of the models are having the western edge of these storms weakening. That side speeds up a little bit. And meanwhile, where the warning is, there are signs that that could slow down, especially with that deep inflow of moisture. And then it kind of starts to curve a little bit more toward the coast. So I'm not confident in how much rain areas like Laredo or Hebbronville will see. But here's your estimated timeline of arrival. Those Alice, Fremont, Encino times are pretty decent to go by. However, I'm not confident in how much rain Encino will see, but I'm confident everyone north of Encino will see a decent amount of rain with this event. So Laredo, we're tracking 306, your current timeline. It is currently 307, so it is there. Alice, 336, Rockport, 352, 406, Corpus Christi. That's what we've been saying pretty much all morning. So your estimated time of arrival for Corpus Christi is about 406. Okay, now we'll track just for where that warning is, which is crazy because the warning is until 3:45 and the leading edge of the storms has already reached the edge of the warning, but that's also where we've got inflow. So some of those storms are moving north. Meanwhile, the whole line of storms is moving to the southeast. And that is creating a little bit of broad rotation in that area, but again, not expecting much. The lightning has stayed pretty consistent. It is moving a little bit northeast, the lightning there, which is interesting. But yeah, let's track for the warning. The stronger wind gusts could reach Corpus Christi around 4 o'clock as well. Robstown 3:59, Taft 3:52. And Orange Grove 3:28. Your current time is 3:09. Hey everyone, I'm Chief Meteorologist Carly Smith. Thank you so much for watching this live update. Hope everyone stays safe tonight. We could have some power outages. That's not out of the question. I know some people are still without power from yesterday. Let's check out our wind speeds. Peak wind gusts so far in Beeville, 37 miles an hour. So not overly concerned with how strong those winds are, but definitely something worth watching. Current temperature 70. So the temperatures are dropping behind the squall line in the rain cooled air. That is just fabulous. We love to see that. So let's check out our velocity. So there definitely is some stronger wind in the Beeville area, but a lot of this is not on the leading edge, which means it's a little bit behind the storm. Again, something that that is worth watching is if the pressure starts to drop behind these storms. This says SVN, we want it to be B. Okay, weirdly enough, we're only getting our 5-minute observation as of 2:15 a.m. And the pressure has increased between 2:35 a.m. and 2:55 a.m. So that's good. Let's check one more thing. To our 9. We have a pressure increase over Goliad. EWX, isn't that Austin, San Antonio? Yeah, over Goliad's airport as well. San Antonio's pressure has stayed pretty much the same. So I was looking at pressure to make sure we aren't in a wake low situation because the wind does appear to be intensifying on radar behind the storms a bit. But I think so far we're okay in terms of a wake low trying to form. But you do see some pockets of higher wind speeds there between George West and Beeville. 60-mile-per-hour winds the main threat. ETA for Corpus Christi is still around 4 p.m. We've got some scattered storms moving north ahead of this line, especially in the Rockport, Refugio, Mathis, even Corpus Christi, Sinton area. But then the line of storms will move through. And one last time, I'm going to go through some estimated times of arrival. And then I will jump off this live update, and if a new warning is issued, it will be meteorologist Hope Boland back on here. But Woodsboro 314, Rockport 352, Portland 408. There's some other estimated times of arrival listed if you're looking for your specific area. Here we go with Mathis arriving now. Orange Grove, Alice around 3:30, Robstown closer to 4, Portland 4, Corpus Christi 4 to 4:30, Flower Bluff 4:30, so not too bad. Then we have Falfurrias around 4:43. A lot of this activity, we do have stratiform rain developing behind it, which may linger into your morning commute like you're seeing in San Antonio there. But the heaviest rain and the strongest wind should be out of the area by 5 to 6 a.m. So anyway, Currently, there is a severe thunderstorm warning until 3:45 for those strong wind gusts in the B County area. That may be extended as it moves into Sinton, Mathis, Refugio, Rockport, and possibly Corpus Christi and Orange Grove. But overall, wind should stay around 60 miles per hour or less. Here is a look at our current wind gust. 25 is what I'm getting there in Beeville. So I'm going to put this back on the loop. We'll jump on with any important updates as needed. Thank you again for watching. I am Chief Meteorologist Carly Smith.
Hello everyone, this is meteorologist Hope Boland. I am hopping back on here as this line of storms is approaching Corpus Christi right now. Well, you can see we're seeing lots of lightning right in the middle of this line of storms, right around Sinton, Refugio, getting into Alice, Orange Grove. Lots of lightning there, so still a very strong storm. We're not seeing a severe thunderstorm warning right now, but it is tracking southeast into Corpus Christi currently. Alrighty, I'm gonna go to our full graphics right now. Full graphics right now. As you can see, lots of strong storms in Sinton, Alice, Refugio. It's approaching Corpus Christi, honestly going to be here any minute now. Probably within the next 10 minutes, you'll start to hear heavy rain. Lots of lightning, so lots of thunder associated with this as well. Also turning your attention over north of Hebronville, it looks like we're seeing a storm come out of the west and colliding with this line of storms. So that's becoming a little stronger, lots of lightning associated with that as that moves in into Duval County just north of Hebronville. Almost at Portland, we're seeing that heavy rain and lightning. Robstown starting to see it. Driscoll will start to see it any minute now. Again, getting very close to Corpus Christi. That's just a mess up with the radar loop there. But over the last hour, it's been moving southeast about 30 miles per hour. So we're going to continue to see it over the next little bit. It may even turn off, go further southeast and exit into the Gulf, but it could affect our morning commute over the 5-6 o'clock hour with some lingering showers, so just keep that in mind. But yes, again, lots of lightning and some gusty wind about to enter into Corpus Christi, already in northwestern Nueces County. If we take a look at a current wind speed that we're seeing, 32 miles in Orange Grove, 33 in Alice right now, miles per hour. Those are some of the wind gusts. So in Alice, 46 miles per hour. Freer, 40 miles per hour. Rockport picking up 33 miles per hour gusts. So definitely gusty out there, but we're not seeing severe thunderstorm warning level gusts right now. Hearing that power has gone on and off in St. Paul. Agua Dulce with no power. Strong winds in Calallen. In terms of hail right now, I'm going to turn off the radar and just see if we're seeing any hail tracks. Looks like there are some small pieces of hail moving with the stronger parts of the storm. Again, I do think they're on the smaller side there that we've seen, because we're not seeing anything that is severe warned right now. Hail size 0.2 to 0.4 is what I'm seeing. 0.6 inches of rain, not rain, diameter for that hail. So a few small small pieces of hail might fall in the stronger parts of the storms that we are seeing. Play through this again. Where you're seeing that red reflectivity heading towards Sinton, heading towards Robstown, coming into Corpus Christi, Portland. Everywhere where you see red, that is stronger parts of the storms. Lots of lightning, again, associated with that. Gusty winds as well, but we are not under a severe thunderstorm warning. No power in Alice.
No power in Alice.
Zooming out, if we assume that this storm's moving at about 30 miles per hour, which is what it's been moving at most of the night, we check to see when our southern counties are going to see this storm come through. Again, Corpus Christi, going to see that rain pick up any minute now. Kingsville, we're looking closer to 430. Port Aransas, 435. Falfurrias, closer to 450. Rivera, around 455 as well. So within the next hour, you're going to start to hear lots of thunder, lots of heavy rain associated with this thunderstorm, or line of thunderstorms. Starting to clear out in Beeville and George West, although still seeing some rain, lingering rain behind it, but it's no longer strong. It's just more some regular rain that they're seeing fall in those areas. Again, we are also watching this area out to our west, north of Hebronville there. A storm has made it out of Mexico. That's colliding with this line of storms, and so it is heavier there. We're seeing some more lightning. That's going to continue to move east, so we're going to see that continue to propagate east as well as this line of storms. Here's another look at our current wind speed and gusts that we're seeing. 33 miles per hour gusts in Rockport, 46 right now in Alice, 35 in Benavides. So starting to pick up 33 miles per hour in Hebronville. We do currently have a marine warning out, but no severe thunderstorm warning here in Corpus Christi. The stronger parts of that storm, though, are heading towards Port Aransas from Orange Grove down into southern Nueces County right now. Corpus Christi, we're going to start to see the rain any minute now. Kingsville already starting to see some of that moderate rain as it gets closer there. If we take a look at velocity right now, you can see where you're seeing the brighter red and brighter green. That is where we are seeing some other stronger wind gusts. Again, it's going to be higher up in the radar, or higher up in the atmosphere the farther it is away from the radar. But areas that could be seeing some of the stronger winds right now are Sinton, Refugio, Kingsville, are about to see some of the stronger winds. again, higher up in the atmosphere, not necessarily what we're seeing at the surface. But as the storms approach, you're going to start to see those winds pick up. Nowhere near what we saw Mother's Day weekend. So that's a good thing. Not a strong gust, but frequently gusting as the storms do blow through. It's pouring hard in Sinton. Sinton is getting a heavier part of the storm right now. Lots of lightning, as well as Rockport's about to get it. We're seeing Portland, Ingleside also getting those heavier parts of the storm. Lots of lightning strike, lots of thunder associated with this as well. There have been some models that show this line of storms continuing to progress southeast and off into the Gulf, and our more southwestern counties not seen as much. So that would be Jim Hogg and Brooks County not seeing as much rain. So we're going to see how that plays out. But I definitely do think that it's going to push into the Gulf. Looks like we do have a warning that just got issued here that popped up around the Corpus Christi, Port Aransas, Rockport area. That is where that warning right now will pop up. Okay, that warning for the Corpus Christi area, it does include the cities that it includes: Corpus Christi, Kingsville, Portland, Robstown, Rockport, Port Aransas, Taft, Driscoll, Corpus Christi, Lamar, Ingleside, Aransas Pass, Bishop, Gregory, Ingleside on the Bay, Bayside, Quintana, Palm Harbor, Corpus Christi North Beach, and Kings Crossing subdivision. It includes all of those areas right now, and it's for the gusts. The gusts are up to 60 miles per hour. That is the threshold to be severe. The hail size, though, is still less than 3/4 of an inch, so not yet at a quarter-sized hail, so there's smaller hail sizes. But in these areas where you're seeing lots of lightning strikes, that's definitely where you could be seeing some smaller pieces of hail associated with it. But some gusty winds, likely right where we saw those really brightly highlighted greens and reds on the velocity. That's where we're seeing some of those stronger winds and why it is severe warned. And it's severe warned until 5 a.m. today. It does look like what we're seeing in Sinton may be tracking south towards Corpus Christi right now. So some of that heavier pockets of rain coming south towards Corpus Christi. Portland, you're starting to see heavy rain, lots of lightning. That's a stronger part of the storm. Orange Grove, Driscoll area seeing a stronger part of the storm. Robstown as well. So very heavy rain right now. If we take a look at rainfall rates, I'm going to remove the warning right now so that we can show rainfall rates. Taking a look at Robstown, just south of Robstown, we're looking at a little over an inch per hour. Portland area, 1.3 inches an hour. Around Sinton, The heavier rain has already, it looks to be mostly moved out, 0.39 inches per hour. So not as heavy rainfall totals as we are seeing Mother's Day weekend, where some of those got upwards to about 2 inches. Looking once again at our current wind speeds and gusts as of 4:25. Right now what we're seeing, Alice picking up a 51 mile per hour wind gusts, 33 miles per hour in Rockport. Not sure how often or how frequently we get updates on some of these wind gusts, but again, that severe thunderstorm warning is for 60 mile per hour wind gusts, and that does include Nueces County and portions of San Patricio, Refugio, Aransas County, Clayburgh County as well. It includes a lot of the coastal areas for 60 mile per hour gusts. And that is in effect until 5 a.m. I'm seeing 65 mile per hour gusts in between Alice and Orange Grove, 68 mile per hour winds in Orange Grove, pea-sized hail in Robstown. People are asking if more rain is coming. There is some just stratiform rain behind this line of storms. It is moving relatively off to the east though. If you look up towards San Antonio, where we're seeing that stratiform rain is moving off to the east. So some rain still likely behind once the worst rain or worst storms moves out of your town, but it's all working its way out into the Gulf. Looks like we're having a little bit of radar issues right now, but that should be, the scan should be full in just a little bit. We do have a flood advisory, this green area here, including Sinton, Rockport. That is until 6:30 a.m. for some heavier rainfall rates on top of what we saw last night. Lots of lightning heading towards Rockport right now. Some heavier rainfall rates in that area that is under a flood advisory highlighted in the green. That includes Sinton, Rockport. To the west of Rockport, where that warning flood advisory is, we're seeing precipitation rates around 2 inches per hour. That's again on top of the rain that fell yesterday, where soils are already saturated. That's why a flood advisory did get issued there. So if you are starting to head out for work within the next 30 minutes, just make sure you're being careful as you head on the roads, especially some water pooling out on the roads. In the dark, you can't always see how deep something is, so just be careful while driving. Starting to hear the gusts here in Corpus Christi along SPID.
What we call a straight line wind and the station side.
Again, the severe thunderstorm warning that we are seeing right now is in effect until 5 a.m. Includes areas such as Corpus Christi, Port Aransas, Rockport. Robstown, Kingsville, Aransas Pass, Gregory, Ingleside. Seeing that power flickered in Calallen. Starting up in Aransas Pass right now. Some more information about that flood advisory that hasn't been issued. Again, it's in effect until 6:30 a.m. Minor flooding is ongoing or expected to begin shortly in the advisory area. Between 1 and 2 inches of rain have fallen. Additional rainfall amounts of 1 to 2 inches are expected over the area. This additional rain will result in minor flooding. Some locations that will experience flooding include Rockport, Sinton, Taft, Woodsboro, Ingleside, Aransas Pass, Gregory, Bayside, Fulton, and Taft. Low-lying areas, poor drainage areas are the areas likely to see some of that flooding first, at least. You can see in that advisory area, that green box, that's where we're seeing some of the stronger rain, about 2 inches per hour the last time I queried it. Seeing some lightning head towards Corpus Christi right now. You'll see another orange box popped up here. That is another special marine warning that's just south of the first one that is issued. The orange box that you see that is more inland, that is covering the areas included in the severe thunderstorm warning right now. Taking a look at velocity once again. Again, where you're seeing some of the yellowy colors, bright red, yellowy, bright green, almost blue colors, that's where we're seeing stronger winds. Not exactly at the surface, but the closer it is to the radar, the closer it is to the surface. So some very strong winds south of Corpus Christi right now. That's saying a velocity of 75 miles per hour. Again, though, that is higher up in the atmosphere, not necessarily what we are seeing at the ground, but that area is included in the severe thunderstorm warning for gusts of 60 miles per hour. Lots of lightning heading towards, or in Rockport right now and heading towards there. Heavier part of the storm. This is the area that flooding is possible in once again. In between Driscoll and Corpus Christi right now, we're seeing precipitation rates around 1 inch per hour. The area towards Rockport is where we're seeing some of that heavier rain right now. Lots of questions about how long this is going to last. We play out Futurecast here. This is a little behind what is actually happening, but you can see it lingers into some of the morning hours. I think it's going to move out faster than this because this is behind what we are actually seeing right now. What we're seeing right now is this isn't exactly handling to the best ability right now, but this still shows lots of rain on the coast, early morning hours. I think that moves off a little bit quicker than that, but I still think in the early commute hours that we do see some lingering showers there as it continues to move off. We're starting